Carl, welcome to the Leadership Toolkit, man. Thank you so much for making the time to have a conversation with me and the audience today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the questions and the discussion.
So I'm curious, Carl, a couple of things that I want to dive into, because one of the things actually you put in the email to me, and I think it's valuable. I don't always dive right into a question like this, but I also think that it's important based on sort of the discussion we've had. Can you dive in if someone's looking looking for training, learning, a leader that they want to follow? What are some of those key characteristics? And the second part of the question is, are they teachable? Can you teach leadership characteristics, or is it stuff that people just know?
Wow. Two great questions. So the ability to connect with people would be one of the top traits. If you don't care, and not in a warm, fuzzy, go to their birthday party type of caring, but all of us have been around leaders where we know that we're just a passing part of their agenda, and the smile is thin, the "how are you doing, Carl" is about as shallow as it gets. And we've also been around those that when we come in the room, there's that eye contact. "Mike, how are you doing? How's that grandbaby doing?" And suddenly, they could say, "And now, Mike, please go jump off the building." And it would be, "Right, I'm on it." Just because they connect.
Yeah.
And they connect because they're able to listen well. So good with people, caring about people, being able to listen to them, and learning to not be the first and the biggest opinion, but truly, and I'm not into consensus leadership. There's times when it's got to be top down, but I am very much a proponent of connection leadership. I've got to know my people. They've got to know my values and why those values are important to me. So integrity, listening, caring about people, those are key aspects. And your second question is, are they teachable? Yes, they are. Why do I hesitate there? Because it goes back to my first point. If someone, and you've seen this in your leadership journey, I have in mind, where you just have people that are just curious, enthusiastic, teach me people. And yet they will become good leaders, because generally those are people, individuals. I hear people on the show right now saying, "Well, but Carl, I'm an introvert. I'm not good with people." Even introverts can be good with people, because even introverts care about people. Now,
Sure.
Some don't, but I may be shy, but I do care about Jane, who's in my office. And I can figure out with good mentoring, good coaching, how to get beyond my shyness and reach out and make that relationship happen. So it's teachable, but it's got to be someone who sees the need for it and isn't seeing it as a manipulative leverage of, well, if I can be a leader, I can get the things I want. That person will not do well as a leader.
Well, I love the way that you put that, Carl, because the thing is, like when you said it's teachable, a couple of things. We can speak and teach all we want, but if the person on the other end is not receptive to it, it doesn't matter, right? So it's
Absolutely.
The things I'm hearing you say is, yes, it's teachable, and the person receiving that has to be willing to be taught. Like they have to have a teachable mentality. The other thing, and I've heard, gosh, I wish I could remember the name. I have it right on the tip of my tongue, and I'll think of it in a minute. But where you were talking about integrity, listening, and caring. Oh, Og Mandino.
Yes.
He makes the statement I just couldn't think of his name. He makes this statement in more than one of his books where he says, there is no replacement for genuine caring. Like, you can't baffle people with your BS. And so I think that's a super valuable point. I mean, and that's been said multiple times, but it's like, okay, well, Carl, if I came to you and I said, okay, well, how do I teach caring then? How do I teach somebody to listen or communicate well? How do I teach integrity? I think one of the things that we first have to take a moment and define as well, what is caring? Like, how do you define those things? Can you expand on that for me a little bit?
Absolutely. It gets down, I think one of our base theories here, Mike, is emotional intelligence.
Love it.
And some of the pillars of emotional intelligence is 1, self-awareness, 2, awareness of others, authenticity, emotional reasoning, crisis leadership, and positive leadership. So let's just stay with 1 and 2 for a second.
Okay.
If I'm so wrapped up in myself and my views and my agendas and my insecurities, I will not care about Mike. I can pretend to, but if something starts heading south, I'll head back to my little cave and defend it really, really strongly. So getting myself aware, how do I come across? What are my trigger points? What do I do well at? What am I weak at? Then I can care about you. And that sounds selfish. Wow, Carl, you're saying that you have to care about yourself before others? You do, because your cup has to be full enough to serve another person.
One of the things that demonstrates to me, and I want people to hear this, if you want to teach caring, you have to model caring. That's the best way that you're able to teach it, because even now you and I sit here and we go, okay, that's great. And I'm trying to articulate it in a way so that it's like, okay, if you're listening or watching this show, you need to get that. You need to get that piece, because that individual in that meeting at that time when Jay needed it stopped and said, here's what's important. We're going to, okay, take the agenda, crumple it up, throw it away. This is what's important. That is truly modeling caring for somebody, because they could see the individual. And so fast forward, we pick up on that as leaders, right?
There's a marvelous quote from St. Francis of Assisi. It's attributed to him. Preach the gospel always, and when necessary, use words. Let's just take gospel out
so good.
And put in leadership or any leadership value.
Yes.
And demonstrate it. Look at the people in your life. Look at the people in mine.
Thank you. And I think that goes for all of those, listening, integrity. I'm curious, how do you, and this is just how my brain works. My audience knows this. We're going to be like, oh, hey, squirrel, let's talk about this thing or something. But diving into that, how do you define integrity, Carl? What do you look at and you say, hey, that person has integrity? How do you determine that?
Never tell a lie. Fully transparent. And if you say you're going to do something, it's done. And if for some reason you can't, it's not after the fact that you fess up to it. It's before the fact. Mike, I know I said yesterday I could be there. Something has come up. I'm going to be an hour late. Can we reschedule, or is an hour going to work for you? Oh, but it's no big deal. I mean, Mike's a flexible guy. He's a busy guy. He can fill his schedule. No, the fact that I've said it the other night, I got a phone call. Someone in our congregation needed a visit. Oh yeah, I'll go over tomorrow night. Not a problem. Well, tomorrow night shows up, and it's about the last thing I want to do, because I know it's going to be a 2-hour visit and the situation's sticky. Now, would it have been okay for me to go over the next night? Yes. But it's still that, no, you said you would be there, and so you're there. Now you may have people in your audience thinking, oh my gosh, this guy sounds so antiquated, as his horse and buggy outside his office. But those are the type of leaders I want to follow.
Yeah.
And it's been modeled for me. When you say it, you do it, you wrap it up, you make sure the person's happy. It just gets down to customer service.
I love it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Piester, thank you so much for joining me on the Leadership Toolkit today. Just a wealth of knowledge. I'm excited to recap the show and stuff because I always go back through and watch and write the stuff. And just you had so much good stuff to share. So absolutely phenomenal. I appreciate you.
Great to be with you today. Thanks for the opportunity, Mike.